Okay, quick crash course here on Roll20. You're going to see some different things than I am, just in terms of what your board looks like. Actually, when you get started, your landing page will just look like this, Tomb of Annihilation. First things first, in the settings, don't forget that you want to go to audio and video and the video display, and you want to change players' avatar video size to names only because we're not really going to be using this. And you also want to make sure that others can hear or see, and I can hear or see none, because we're going to play on Zoom instead of playing on the Roll20 platform, because it's not the best for audio video stuff. So these to none, and then the video display, change the names only so it doesn't clog up the bottom of your screen there, since we're not actually using people's chat things. Other than that, you can kind of mess with these as much as you need to. I don't think any of them really matter outside of the ones that I just showed you is a really important one. This collection thing you don't need to worry about. That's for me. This jukebox thing, I'm going to try and actually play some mood music just to see if it works. I think you can mute it yourself if you want to. This info thing is not really that relevant because I have not purchased all of the content, so they're pretty lackluster in here. I'm going to come back to the journal in a second. That's pretty important. The chat is where most things are going to go, and if you end up rolling any dice, which you can do, you probably can't see on screen, but you can do on the left side of the screen, or by typing things in here like /roll d20, you can program it to write things like that, and all those things will sort of show up in the chat there. I also am fiddling around with this, but I can generate random encounters, and so that'll show up in the chat as well. Art library, I don't know that you even have this button actually, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need to worry about this at all. The thing that you care about here is the journal. Now you're going to see only a smidge of this currently. I've got 3 characters associated with people and 2 that we're waiting for Aaron and Molly to get involved there, and you won't see any of the rest of this crap in there. However, over time, I will reveal things to you, and they will pop up in your journal. So, pictures of things that you've seen. So, for instance, I'll show you in your journal haha, you have met an Iblis, and so here's a picture of what an Iblis looks like, and then you'll be able to pull it up in your journal at any time. It'll sit down there, and all this other random crap that you can find. Some of it's lore, some of it's just art, but you can kind of reference that in the future. And then again, on my side of things here, we have all the I have all the actual module information in here. But for you pretty much are just going to have these character sheets, and when you click on a character sheet, I've made it so that everybody can see everyone else's character sheet. Let me know if for some reason you don't like that idea, but there's only one that you can really edit, and it's your own. So when you go in, the thing that you're going to want to look for is this character sheet thing right here. And you can edit the sheet correctly or use the Charactermancer. The reality is that the Charactermancer is very good if you have all of the stuff, which I don't have. So you have to do some manual things in here. I'm going to try and use it and see what happens here, because you can basically build your character. So start off by picking what it is that you're doing. And you'll see that they don't really kind of allow for us to put in our own ability scores. They assume kind of the base things in there. Base abilities and blah blah blah. So we'll just pick some stuff for being a dwarf here, and actually I'll do custom. No, that's a real pain in the butt. I'll just do dwarf. So it's gonna say that I have these such and such abilities. Choose a class. It gives you all of the stuff in your class. Then okay, now I can choose my skill abilities based off of that, and apparently I didn't know this, but bards just get tons of music instruments. I guess that makes some sense. And great, we are going to do a custom ability score method. So here is where you want to basically ignore your other things. So this dwarf here thinks that you've already done your stats, you've done your point buy, you know what your +2, your +1, your -2. You can go ahead in here and just put in the appropriate stats for your character. Now, it's important to recognize, I believe, yes, so because this thinks I'm a hill dwarf, it is giving me +2 to Constitution and +1 to Wisdom. So if my Constitution was supposed to be a 10, I just need to go back in here and kind of trick it to actually be the number that's there. So here's my really horribly statted, let's make it a little bit more reasonable. here's my character stat as is, and maybe I have the jump stat ability here for whatever, something like that, whatever. These numbers at the top will tell you essentially what your final numbers are, which it is that you're looking for. So go ahead and make those in the way that you want to. These backgrounds, a lot of them aren't actually in there. Again, if I had all the modules, if I bought all the books and spent the $500 on all the Roll20 stuff, that'd be great. It only has the one sample one and the two that you can be from Tomb of Annihilation, because it's the only book that I own now. So you can just kind of custom this and choose the appropriate types of proficiencies that it gives you. Maybe I know how to do dagger, and it gives me language of some sort. I broke it. There we go. Whatever. This ability that goes there, and if you're using these, you can do that. Starting wealth is totally fine in this game. You're welcome to do however you like, or you can do kind of the initial items. I don't care one way or the other, but you should track your wealth in this game. I do think that it's going to be probably a little bit more important than in other games. If you're a class with some spell abilities, you can pick spells. And then here it's going to tell you that you can't have a feat, because even though we're playing with house rule for it, I don't have a way to kind of override this, I don't believe. You can put in any bio information here if you like. And then you will finish and apply changes to your character, which will be incomplete. So that's the character mancer if you didn't edit the sheet directly. You can edit the sheet directly and put these numbers in here, but you can then just kind of go and... Can you change this? You can. You can just go and like change the information in here to be completely appropriate, and you can like add additional abilities here. So these are all the different abilities that I might have, and I might also have the magic initiate feat or whatever, and I want to click on this. Doesn't this allow me to? That's when I click on this, it just puts it in the chat, the speech bubble. There is a way for me to change this here. You can add extra abilities and tool proficiencies in here, so I can add, different types of languages or skills, blacksmithing. Yep. And I think when you click on that, when you click on the wheel is when it actually puts it in your system for you. I'm going to come back to this one. For this is actually really helpful to add an attack or ability in here. So I might have my hammer attack, and it's a strength attack. You can change what ability it's connected to. Maybe pluses if it's magical and I am proficient in it. It's just a melee attack. Normal crit damage, and this does, let's say, 1d8 damage, plus my strength modifier, plus maybe it's magical or something like that. And let's say I do have a magic hammer. And then I can add extra information in here if it's appropriate. And then when I've clicked on this, I've now finished this. And so now I can, anytime I want to, boop, click on that, and it will then have rolled in the chat for me. It rolled a d20. I rolled a 13. I got +2 because of my 15 strength, and I got +2 because of my proficiency, so +4 to hit. So I rolled 17, and it didn't roll my damage, so I could click on this to roll it again, and it will roll my damage right there on that d8. I rolled a 6, and I added 2 because that was my strength modifier. I think there's actually also a way, let's to mess with this some more. So I'm gonna come back to this in just a second. You can make rolls with advantage here, so I can make an attack with advantage. I can make an attack with disadvantage, or just normal. This is my core. I can put some character information in here. You can modify your spells in here. The system is smart enough to know that Bane is a spell that I cast, so it can actually like put the text in there if it's something that you have. If you're using a spell that for some reason we don't have in there, like I'm actually surprised to see these spells are in the SRD. It might just be because I bought Tomb of Annihilation, but I never actually had spells before this, so this is new and fresh. You can also just add here, you know, Nyx magic spell, and it's 1 action, and it's 30 feet away, and that's the school, and it's verbal and somatic, but not material. It is concentration. It lasts for a minute. And nukes enemy for 1d20 damage per round until lose concentration. You know, you can type really whatever, and then now when I cast Nyx magic spell, it shows that entire text in there. So you can just kind of copy paste or put in information as however appropriate, and then it just makes it a little bit more easily accessible to everyone else in the future. All right, here in the gear thing is where we get to mess with some of the other stuff that I was messing about with before. So let me just look and think for a second. A lot of this stuff is not relevant. You can cheat the system and break these numbers to like add ability score bonuses if you get them at the even levels. You can level up your character by launching the level plus character mancer option. You can give yourself bonuses to saves that you're not supposed to have. So you can cheat scores here. You can cheat your spell slots here. Basically, you just confuse the system by manually changing any of that information over there. These you don't really want to mess with because the advantage toggle is right, and this actually is fun. I like to change this to auto roll damage because now when I roll my hammer, boom, automatically rolls the damage at the same time. This, by the way, is a dirty 20. You can tell because if I hovered over it, it says 16 plus 4 there. If I, oh, there we go, that was a critical fail right there because it's in red, and a critical success is always in green. And when you get a crit success, which we will someday, it'll actually, oh, there we go, crit success. It already rolls the extra damage for you. So there it's 10 damage when I got a crit, which is pretty convenient. I don't know what the fuck any of this stuff is. Yep. I mean, you can fiddle with it some more, but essentially, like, that's the core of it. Like, you can input all these like informations here, and I would just advise you to kind of like fiddle around with it. If you end up breaking anything, let me know, and I can try to take a look at it, but it shouldn't be too bad. Also, you're going to associate this. I'm going to associate this character with a token of yours. So I'll put a link for the token generator. And then I'll put the token. You'll send me the art for the token, and I'll put it in, and it will be like the token will be associated with your character sheet. So actually, as you like change your current hit points, it should change on your token, and vice versa on your character sheet as well. So I think that's pretty neat as well. So you don't have to use this, but I do think that it helps communicate a little bit more in the Roll20 space. And as you can tell from my walkthrough here, I'm not amazing at this, but we'll figure it out as it goes.